It's about time I had to record a recording to a loss, right? Sixers lose. I don't even actually know. Let me look at the box score real quick. Let's see. 110-103 is your final. If you want to know why we lost the game, or what I'm going to be complaining about today, Shake Milton had 9 points in 29 minutes. And let me put this into even more perspective. He hit a couple of threes in the fourth quarter. Those were the only shots he hit in the entire game. Guys, we have a guard problem. I mean, we all knew it, right? We all knew we had a guard problem. But this is defcon 1,000,000. You have a guard problem. There is not a single guard on this team right now that you trust. I know some people are like, oh, why didn't Doc put Embiid in sooner? I think that he wanted to try and get more transition, try to get more flow. But see, again, this goes back to the issue. I don't trust a single guard on this team right now. The main man I'm going to complain about is the guy where when we first acquired him, I mostly said this on Discord, but I believe I made a couple of comments on a couple of RB videos about it. I was complaining about Seth Curry's third year of his contract because I'm like, Seth Curry should not be getting in the way, in a couple of years in 2022 of you signing a Harden or whatever. And games like this is the reason why. This guy, in the ideal perfect world, should be coming off the bench. It's the same thing for Danny Green. We're going to go into that completely. Danny Green to Seth Curry, in the ideal perfect world for a title contender, should be coming off the bench, not starting. This is the issue Doc has right now. He doesn't have a single perimeter player that he could trust. You saw them tonight. Tonight, Nick Nurse is one of the best coaches in the league. And you're at that point 30 games into the season where everybody has tape on you. So Nick Nurse studied the Sixers offense and he said, you know what? We're going to push the defense up on these screens and we're going to make Seth Curry put the ball on the floor. We're going to make Danny Green put the ball on the floor. We're going to make Shake Milton put the ball on the floor. We're going to have them, let's see if they can actually drive and finish. And what you saw tonight is that they can't. Not a single one of them is capable, even though Seth Curry at 6 assists, he had like 3 turnovers. Not a single guard is high-level rotation. And while I speak about this, I want to correlate this really quickly because a lot of people, some people are like, oh, look at Embiid, oh. The center position is the most delicate position in basketball. I'm going to sound like Dan Orlovsky a little bit. The center position, you need everybody else. You literally do. The difference in the Chicago game and the difference in this game, really, when you think about it, is that Chicago did not have the length on the perimeter. They have OG Anunoby, Fred VanVleet is a pass. So Toronto had more perimeter players and can pressure you even more. And our perimeter struggled in the Chicago game. This is a disaster. Who do you trust right now on the perimeter? Who, seriously, do you trust? Seth Curry is my, we'll call it Sixer Universe bash. I am bashing Seth Curry tonight. If I see another fucking pump fake, Seth, you were open all night. And he's pump faking it. Land Brock, I've been watching him great. He mentioned it in the Chicago game. Seth Curry pumping in for 2. Stop it, or you're going to the bench. I don't know for who, because everyone else sucks. But you have one job, Seth. You played this way, in the first 8 games of the year. You shot the ball from the outside. Stop dipping in, and you ain't stroking too. You're missing. So not only are you not shooting the free ball, you're missing. And it's ruining the offense. If you can't get all the way to the rim, then just stay on the outside. Seth Curry is one of the biggest reasons you blew this game. Offensively. Because he couldn't put the ball on the floor. You couldn't create really until for himself. And he's not shooting the open free balls. Joel Embiid actually played. I ate dinner and I missed a lot of third quarter. But I thought that Joel Embiid, his numbers aren't going to pop out to you. But I thought he played, especially in the first half, he played a tremendous floor game. The guy, 17 rebounds. He was rebounding like a madman. He was attacking the offensive glass. He had 14 free throws. He easily could have had like 17 or 18 free throws. He was that dominant on the interior. He just wasn't dominant on the initial catch because Toronto, credit to Nick Nurse, is playing you up front. Toronto played a very aggressive perimeter defense that said, Tobias, you beat us to the basket. Seth, you beat us to the basket. Shake, you beat us to the basket. And they just can't. Not a single player on this team could put the ball on the floor with any regularity or consistency. Not a single guard. And by guard, I want to clarify. I mean every human being 6'5" and less. Because Ben Simmons will have his own segment because he played incredible tonight. I just need to get this off. Your guards, the people we brought in here to compliment Joe and Ben, they're not just sucking anymore. They are, I don't even know if it's G League. It's trash. It's garbage. Like, I'm going to channel a Sports Hub with Bros here. What am I watching? What am I seriously watching? Am I spending 2 hours of my life to see 6'3" Seth Curry pump fake? Seriously? Daryl Morey, you have to pull the trigger. Blow this core up. I'm done with it. Joe and Ben and Tobias, those are your pieces. Everyone else needs to get the fuck out of up here immediately. I don't want to ever see Burkhardt Kormaz again. Cut him at this point, because I don't even know if he gets a second round pick. Excuse me, soda. Last video, I was talking about, if you could trade Burkhardt for a second, I would be successful. In this game, he played even worse, and Doc Rivers finally was like, enough. In fact, the first couple of substitutions, there was Mattheus Bible, and then there was Isaiah Joe, who also did not have a good game. And this is why, even though people are mad with the Embiid thing with Doc, I don't blame Doc. This perimeter court, there's no one. Like I said, everyone has sucked. Every single one is unplayable right now. Seth Curry doesn't have good. Let's talk about Danny Green's second half. I was going to praise Danny Green because his first half defense was excellent. He still got beat a couple of times, but he's even moving his feet. I guess high-level defense for Danny Green only exists in 10 minutes. Which is why he should be going out the bench. Because second half, good Lord. Between the missed shots, between the fouls, Danny Green by himself coughed up that game. If you wanted to channel it all to Danny Green, although that wouldn't be totally accurate, it would be somewhat accurate because he was that bad. Like, I don't even know. Wow. Just wow. We're so far from where we were, at the 10-game mark, at the 8-game mark. That stretch where we thought these guys were the shit when they're healthy? Actually, let's just rephrase that. They look better because Joel Embiid and let's talk about Ben Simmons. I love Ben Simmons tonight. Even though I said the guards, I no longer consider Ben Simmons a guard. Ben Simmons is a unicorn. Ben Simmons doesn't play a position. Ben Simmons is the outlier of the rules of basketball. Ben Simmons is by himself. I thought that, I talked about this on Discord. is that I wanted to see, well, if you had Embiid in a Brook Lopez type of role, and Ben Simmons can get in the interior, and that is a little bit of what you saw. I would have liked to have seen more ball reversal, so that Embiid, I feel like, Embiid doesn't have to totally do the Brook Lopez. In other words, he doesn't have to just stand there. I think he can cut to the basket. We saw a play earlier in the regular season where he's cutting to the basket. Just things like those, so that where Ben Simmons has the ball, Joel Embiid could take the opposite block. In other words, Joel Embiid could be in the dunker spot, and as Ben is attacking, you could literally throw that up to Embiid. I feel like you could continue to grow the combination of our two stars, and they're the only bright spot. Tobias had his first bad game. Mulligan, I don't really care. It is what it is. He hasn't had a game like this in 2 months. And besides, again, Toronto played a very heavy, aggressive defense. This was not a game the Sixers lost. It was a game that Nick Nurse won. I could say that. Nick Nurse came in with a tremendous game plan. Because you're 30 games into the year, everyone has game tape, and people are seeing Seth Curry is not a ball handler. Shake Milton is not it. Sorry. Tyrese Maxey is 20 years old. Daryl, you gotta get this done now. This guard position cannot be this way. Your wings cannot be this way. For as much as the Sixers are the best front court in basketball, between Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons and Tobias Harris, even though they have the most physically dominant front court in the NBA, they are the complementary is the guards. If you're going to have a front court, if you're going to build on the front court, you need at the very least, think about the 2004 Detroit Pistons, right? You had Chauncey Billups, you had Richard Hamilton. The Sixers don't have anyone that's even Richard Hamilton good. We would literally pray for a time machine of Richard Hamilton going to the Sixers, or Chauncey Billups on the team. You don't even have guards of that caliber. Just to put that in perspective of how bad the Sixers wing perimeter, jump shooting, ball handling rotation is right now. You don't even have that. You don't even have a physical of that. Now, it's where I will apologize. Maybe I was too high too soon on Shake Milton. You see the intangibles, you see these things, but you also see that you're 22, and so, just like with Tyrese Maxey, so even though they're 2 years away from being 2 years away, the problem is you need them right now. It is not about this loss. It's not about this loss. It's about that Joel, Ben, and Tobias can literally take it if we get a better rotation. If we get a rotation. And now, I do want to go heavy on guards. If the Pistons can give us a Delon Wright and a Wayne Ellington, you do it. Like, I'm sorry, Tyrese and Shake. You probably got to sit this. You're going to have to mature your body, get stronger to the point where you can be guards that we can rely on in 30 minutes a night. Because right now, Tyrese didn't play. I actually thought that maybe Tyrese could have done something. He'd been struggling, don't get me wrong. But his speed is an element, like a TJ McConnell sort of thing. I think if you look at Tyrese Maxey in a TJ McConnell type of role, I think that would be very good for him right now. But the fact that you're putting a guy like that at TJ McConnell role tells you all you need to know about the Sixer guard situation. I thought we were over it in that 8-game stretch, we all thought we were over it. We thought that these guards turned the corner. When Seth Curry was shooting 60% for free and literally letting it fly, we thought it was over. We were like, okay, you don't have the best, but you don't have the worst either. So your guard rotation is decent, or at least that's what we thought. It turned out you need to play more games. COVID-19, everything that happened there, but that can't be an excuse. That can't be an excuse. That's Doc Rivers' mentality, that it can't be an excuse. And I don't want to go down the road of Adele Peterson. You look at your players square, they're not good enough. Sorry. There are guys who are shooting the ball well. There are guards shooting the ball well. And quite frankly, it's it's hard to overhaul an entire bench, but that's what Daryl Morey's going to have to do. Because when you have a streak of games, remember, this goes back literally to late January. This has been 3 weeks of the bench just completely and totally failing you on every level. It's enough of a sample size where this core, and by core, I mean this core of role players, they don't fit. Alright, we've seen enough. I don't need to see another second half of the season of the same shit. I know that this core isn't going to get it done. They're not. Now, like I said in the other video, do you trade for a starter to bump some of these starters who should be bench players to the bench? That's one way you can do it. Alonzo Ball, a Buddy Hield, and then you put Danny Green to the bench where he belongs. And then your bench gets stronger with that. You take a look at a Mattheus who played an uncharacteristically bad game for him. He's reaching in, he's getting contact, and he's complaining to the ref about the body contact that he himself is generating by playing too close to his man. You can't be giving body contact and not be thinking that there are going to be calls. You got to get over that. So I wonder if Mattheus is ever going to... Mattheus is not... He is the guy who gets a lot of steals and blocks. But if you ask me what an all-first team defender is, it's someone who's technically sound and is going to be more of an impact than a detrimental. Defensively, he is a cannonball. He's a Brad Lidge, but he's not a Roy Halladay. Get it? 1 inning, 2 inning, yeah. But over the course of a 9-inning game, or hell, even 5 innings, you get it? I'm not sure if Mattheus was a high-level rotation player. I never had him at that grade to begin with. I thought he was a second-round talent. But the Sixers traded up for him. I was like, wasn't the best, wasn't the worst thing. Not what I would have done, but it's not, like, it wasn't like the Jaleel Okafor, like, god damn it, what were you doing? It was more of a, that wasn't my value. That wasn't my value. That's not how I would have approached that draft. But early on in his rookie year, I thought Mattheus was playing to the value of the first round pick, and now we're right back where we are. I don't think that Mattheus is even a Tony Allen. I think he is a heavily situational, a very limited basketball player who I think he's going to bounce around the entire NBA. I really do. Once his rookie contract expires, this is going to be a guy who you sign to a 10-day, you just bring him on for his deflections, whatnot. But he's not an NBA rotation guy, I'm sorry. He is flawed defensively in that he continues to overreach and not play his man. And obviously we all know his offensive game, I think, is even far worse than the Tony Allen. This is the reality of your bench. There's not a single good bench player on the team right now. Dwight Howard, at a point in his prime, Dwight Howard was one of the best live fetch. Now Dwight is Butterfingers. This whole bench is a disaster. It's what it is. I'm going to keep it real. This bench is broken. It is mentally and physically defeated. This core cannot go on. And the same thing with Seth Curry and Danny Green starting. So literally, the reason why you've been winning some, losing some, the reason why you haven't been able to establish it despite your stars being incredible is in your 8-player rotation, 5 or 6 of them on any given night are sucking. Doc Rivers doesn't know who he could turn to right now. I don't know who you can turn to right now. It's defcon 1 million. It's an unprecedented, dangerous situation. And Daryl Morey has to do his best to try and move a lot of these guys. I mean, a lot of them as much as he can. Because this core is just not even remotely coming close to cutting it. In fact, cutting it is a misnomer. This core is falling apart before our very eyes. Teams are going to look at that Toronto tape and say, oh, so that's what we should do. Front the post, Sacramento did it before Toronto. Front the post, front the perimeter. They're these guards who can't dribble the ball past their fucking feet to actually put the ball on the floor. That game, last couple games, but that game cemented it. Just like Embiid's game against Chicago cemented Embiid as a legacy player. This game tonight cemented that I'm done with this core. I'm done. The Seth Currys, the Danny Green, the Matisse Thybulle, and yes, even the Tyrese Maxey, because we don't have the time to develop Tyrese. We're not in that stage to develop a guy who's going to be in 2 years a great player. We don't have that time. We don't. It would be a waste of a year to keep Tyrese Maxey. It really would. Tyrese is an asset. Now, you have to make sure what you use that asset on. Because it is a similar situation to when Houston traded a young Kyle Lowry for Ray for Austin. So you want to make sure you're not doing it for Ray for Austin. You want to make sure you cash this in the right way. But make no mistake, you have to cash it in. Either you cash it in, or here's where we're at. This perimeter core is so bad anyway, right? Bite the bullet and play Tyrese Maxey for any minutes. Yeah, Tyrese is going to struggle. I mean, he's been struggling. But the only way you're going to get the value of what we think Tyrese can become is if you expedite it, and there's only one way to expedite it in the NBA. Minutes. A lot of minutes. And it might not be a bad thing, given the state of Seth Curry and his pathetic performance. Shake Milton, 3 of 11. I just don't know what you do. Now, okay. I went on those guards long enough. Ben Simmons. Wow. It makes me feel better just mentioning Ben Simmons' name. I never thought that Ben Simmons would have the kind of game where, just look at this guy. Only 1 turnover. He should have had a lot more assists, frankly. You know, everyone missing shots. But here's the stat line. Ben Simmons, 9 of 11. Arguably, maybe some of Embiid's shots should have went to Simmons more. But he's 9 of 11. He's 10 of 14 from the free throw line. Literally up to 26 free throws the Sixers made. Embiid and Simmons made 22 of them. Ben Simmons is finally, this is the only good thing about tonight. We all wondered, right, what would Ben's follow-up game be? You know, after what would the Blue game be like? 28 points, 9 rebounds, 1 rebound away from a double-double, and 5 assists to only 1 turnover. And that isn't even accounting for his defense. He had a steal. Danny Green had 5 steals. Like I said, Danny Green in the first half. And you know, and that shows with 6 fouls, too. The fouls came because Danny Green was actually aggressive. Danny Green was using his hands. Danny Green was actually trying on defense. I just think that Danny Green's 33 years old. You know, 24 minutes because he fouled out. That's exactly the situation for Danny Green. I think Danny Green is 33. I think if you could get a better wingman, you put Danny Green in the right position. I don't know how a guy with a career average of 10 points ever gets a $15 million contract. These NBA GMs in general, they just have to do a better job at contract evaluation. Like, that can't happen. Now, we didn't sign him. I'm saying about Pelinka, who, like, what are you doing? $15 million a year for Danny Green? Are you kidding me? Oh. Yeah, colder this time. But and Isaiah Joe, he really struggled defensively. Maybe we were only hyping up Isaiah Joe, quote unquote, defense just because we wanted to see someone other than Burcon be torched. And this is a big video just because your stars, 2 of them play. Your 2 superstars. Okay, so Embiid had a C+ game, C- maybe. Ben Simmons had an A+ game. That would normally carry you. Think about it. You got 53 points from your 2 guys. You got half of your points from those 2 players. If anyone else stepped up, and we're going to give a mulligan to Tobias Harris tonight. Tobias Harris gets my mulligan. But if anyone else stepped up, you probably win tonight. I don't know what Morey does, but he has to do it. This core, my good loving Lord. Wow. That's all I have to say to it. Wow. That's how I'll end this video. Wow. Wow, 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 wow. This is fucking atrocious. And the more games you play like this, their value, not that it was any high to begin with, is going to go down a little bit. I don't know, Daryl, but my patience is running thin with this core of rotation players. The supporting cast around Embiid, Simmons, and Tobias. My patience surrounding them is growing very, 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 very thin, if not non-existent. You have to be better than this. Because if Toronto basically has Aaron Baines, Chris Boucher, and Oceano Anunoby, and Fred VanVleet, and who was that guy? DeAndre Bembry, a fucking late first round pick. If those guys are pushing out the perimeter, they're dominating you at the point of attack. What's that say about we want to be contenders, right? What do you think the Lakers are going to do to us defensively? What do you think the Utah Jazz could do to us defensively? We need more out of our ball handlers. This is just disturbing. This is a longer video, I know, but this is DEFCON 1 million. This guard rotation, I don't know what you do, but they'll have to do it. Even if it means selling 4 first-round picks at this point, you can't go on like this. This is not fair to Doc. This core looks worse than any perimeter core that Brett Brown had. This core is shit. 60 Universe signing off before I go on another 27 minutes.